4, paragraph page 211. Okay, last headword was wives. Newer type of lesson.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's start with revision. Ready?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. First question. Okay, are we almost at the end of the lesson? Are we almost at the end of the lesson? Yes or no?
No,
We
we
aren't
aren't at the
almost.
almost at the end of the lesson.
Very good. Does almost everybody in your country have a mobile phone? Does almost everybody in your country have a mobile phone? Yes or no?
Yes,
Almost
almost
everybody in
everybody
my
in this
country
my country
has a
has a
mobile
mobile
phone.
phone.
Very good. Where do we generally see people sitting at desks? Where do we generally see people sitting at desk? We generally
We
see
generally
people
see
sitting
people
at desks
sitting at
in
desks
offices
in the
and
offices
classrooms.
and classrooms.
In some jobs, can people work from home instead of going to an office? In some jobs, can people work from home instead of going to an office? Yes, in some
Yes, in
jobs,
some
people can
jobs,
work
people can
from home
work from
instead
home
of
instead of
going to
going
an
to
office.
offices.
Very good. Is it easier to get a good job in your country if you speak English? Is it easier to get a good job in your country if you speak English? Yes, it's
Yes,
easier
it's
to get a good
easier to
job
get
in
a
my
good job
country
in my
if you speak
country if
English.
you speak English.
When does next season start? When does next season start? Next season
Next
starts
season
on the month
starts
of.
on the month of December.
Very good. Okay. When's your birthday? When's your birthday? My
My
birthday's on the.
birthday is on the 16th April.
Very good. What do we say to people on their birthday? What do we say to people on their birthday? We say happy
We say
birthday
happy
to people
birthday to
on their
people on
birthday.
their birthdays.
Very good. What can we say when we meet a friend? What can we say when we meet a friend? When we meet a
Okay,
friend,
when we meet
we
a
can
friend, we
say,
can say,
"Hi, how are you?"
"Hi, how are you?"
What can we do when we meet somebody for the first time? What can we do when we meet somebody for the first time? When we meet
When we
somebody
meet
for the first
somebody for
time,
the
we
first
can
time,
say
we
hello.
can say
Nice
hello
to meet you.
and
And
nice to
shake
meet you and
hands with
shake
them.
hands with them.
Right? When you go to meet somebody, do you always arrive early? When you go to meet somebody, do you always arrive early? Yes or no? When I
Yes,
go to
when
meet
I go
somebody,
to meet
I
somebody,
always
I
arrive
always
early.
arrive early.
Very good. What's the difference between bring and take? What's the difference between bring and take? The difference
The
between
difference
bring
between
and take
bring and
is that
take is
bring
that
means carry
bring
here,
means carry here,
whereas take
to,
means
whereas
carry
take means
carry there.
carry there.
Very good. Okay, give me a sentence with the word bring in it. Give me a sentence with the word bring in it, please. I bring my bag
I
to the
bring my
lesson with
bag to
me.
the lesson with me.
Give me a sentence with the word take in it. Give me a sentence with the word take in it, please. I take my bag
I take
home
my
with
bag
me
home
after the
with
lesson.
me after the lesson.
Very good. Okay, next. Do you bring a pen with you to school? Do you bring a pen with you to school? Yes, I
Yes,
bring
I
a pen
bring a
with
pen
me.
with me to school.
Do you take this book home with you after the lesson? Do you take this book home with you after the lesson? No, I don't
No,
take
I don't
that book
take the
home with
book
me
home
after the
with me
lesson.
after the lesson
Why not? Why not? Because it
because
isn't
it's
mine.
yours. It isn't mine.
Or it's yours. It's also correct. Next. Do you bring any food with you to school? Do you bring any food with you to school? Yes or no?
Yes,
I
I
bring
bring
some
some
food
food
with
with
me.
me to school.
Do you take a camera with you when you go on holiday? Do you take a camera with you when you go on holiday? Yes or no?
No,
I don't
I
take
don't
a camera
take
with me
camera with
when
me
I go
when
on
I
holiday.
go on holiday.
What do you bring with you to school? What do you bring with you to school? I bring my
I bring my bag
with me
with
to
me to
school.
school.
Very good. Do you speak English quite well? Do you speak English quite well? Yes, I speak
Yes, I
English quite
speak
well.
English quite well.
Do you go to the cinema quite often? Do you go to the cinema quite often? Yes or no? I
No,
don't go
I
to the
don't go
cinema
to the
very
cinema
often.
very often.
Dita, very good. Do you think learning English is quite easy, quite difficult, or very difficult? Do you think learning English is quite easy, quite difficult, or very difficult? I think
I
learning
think
English
learning
is
English is quite difficult.
very good. It's quite easy though. Okay, next. Is pure water bad for the body? Is pure water bad for the body? No. Pure
No,
water
pure
isn't
water
bad for the
isn't bad
body.
for the
It's good
body.
for the body.
It's good for the body.
Is the wine we buy in the shops always pure? Is the wine we buy in the shops always pure? No, the wine
No,
we buy
wine
in
we
the
buy
shops
in
isn't
the shop
always pure.
isn't always pure.
Sometimes it's pure,
Sometimes it's
and
pure and
sometimes it's
sometimes
impure.
it's impure.
Very good. Do you ever promise to give something to somebody and then not give it? Do you ever promise to give something to somebody and then not give it? Yes or no? I
Yes,
sometimes
I
promise to
sometimes
give something
promise
to
to give
somebody
something to
and
somebody
then not give it.
and then not give it.
Do you always do what you promise to do? Do you always do what you promise to do? Yes or no?
Yes,
I
I
always
always
do
do
what I
what I
promise to do.
promise to do.
Very good. Are waiters and waitresses always polite to people in restaurants? Are waiters and waitresses always polite to people in restaurants? Yes or no?
Yes,
Waiters
waiters
and
and
waitresses are
waitresses
always
are
polite to
always
people
polite to
in
people
restaurants.
in restaurant.
Are teenagers generally more polite than adults? Are teenagers generally more polite than adults? Yes or no?
No,
Teenagers
teenagers
aren't
aren't
generally more
more
polite
generally more
than
polite
adults.
than
They're
adults.
generally less
They're
polite
generally less
than
polite than
adults.
adults.
Very good. When we want to speak to somebody we don't know, what's the first thing we generally say? When we want to speak to somebody we don't know, what's the first thing we generally say? When we want to
When we
speak
want
to
to speak to
somebody we don't
somebody
know,
we don't
the
know,
first thing
we
we
the
generally
first thing
say
we generally
is
say
excuse
is
me.
"Excuse me,
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. Excuse me. Can you
excuse
tell me
me.
the
Can
way
you
to
tell
the
me the
station,
way to
please?
the station, please?"
Very good. What's the plural of wife? What's the plural of wife? The plural
The
of
plural
wife
of wife
is
is
wives.
wives.
Do husbands in your country generally help their wives in the house? Do husbands in your country generally help their wives in the house? Yes or no?
No,
Husbands in my
husbands in
country
my
don't
country
generally help
don't
their
generally
wives
help the
in the
wives
house.
in house.
If you can't answer a question during a lesson, who helps you to answer it? If you can't answer a question during a lesson, who helps you to answer it? If I can't
If I can't
answer
answer the question
during the
during
lesson,
the
the
lesson,
teacher helps
the
me to
teacher
answer it.
helps me to answer it.
If you help me, do you think we can lift this table together? If you help me, do you think we can lift this table together? Yes or no?
Yes,
If I help
if
you,
I
I
help
think
you,
we
I
can
think
lift
we
that
can
table
lift the
together.
table together.
Very good. And that's the end of our revision. Let's have new word.
Okay,
Very good. Very fast. Okay. Repeat common.
common.
Very good. Okay, listen. Common is an adjective. For example, all people drink water. The most common drink we for us is water. In Japan, the most common drink besides water is tea. Okay, let's practice.
Mm.
Which is the most common drink in your country besides water? Which is the most common drink in your country besides water?
Green tea
Is the most
is
common
the
drink
most common
in my
drink in
country
my
besides
country
water?
beside water.
Very good. Okay, next repeat. Fire.
Fire.
Very good. Okay, listen. Fire is a noun. For example, we use fire when we make food or cook food. In winter, some houses in Europe have fires at home. It makes them warm. Let's practice. Do you have a fire at home in winter? Do you have a fire at home in winter? Yes or no? I
No,
don't have a
I
fire
don't
at
have
home
a
in
fire at
winter.
home in winter.
Very good. Next repeat. Broad.
Uh,
Broad.
broad.
Okay, listen. Broad is an adjective. For example, 123 High Street is the broadest street in my town. Let's practice. Which is the broadest street in your town? Which is the broadest street in your town? Let's say ABC Street
ABC Street
is the broadest
is
street
the broadest
in my
street in
town.
this my town.
Very good. Next repeat. Rich.
Rich.
Regulation rich is an adjective. It means having a lot of money. For example, a millionaire has a lot of money. He or she is rich person. Let's
Mm.
practice. Who is the richest person you know? Who is the richest person you know?
Bill Gates
Is the richest
is the
person I
richest
know.
person I know.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Next repeat. Poor.
Poor.
Regulation poor is an adjective. It is the opposite of rich. For example, Mr. Brown isn't a poor person. He's rich. Let's practice. Name me one of the poorest countries in the world. Name me one of the poorest countries in the world, please. Let's say
Mm,
ABC country
okay, ABC country
is one of
is
the
the
poorest
one of the
countries
poorest
in the world.
countries in the world.
Very good. Okay, next repeat. Story.
Story.
Bedtime.
Bedtime.
We're gonna get listen. Story is a noun. For example, children love to read stories from the book like Cinderella, Snow White, The Little Mermaid, etc. In the phrase bedtime story, the word bedtime is used as a modifier. Bedtime stories are stories children listen to before going to bed or at bedtime. For
Mm,
example, parents in my country read bedtime stories to their children.
mm.
Let's practice. Do you like reading war stories? Do you like reading war stories? Yes or no?
No,
I don't
I
like
don't
reading
like
war
reading
stories.
war stories.
Do parents in your country read bedtime stories to their children? Do parents in your country read bedtime stories to their children? Yes or no?
Yes,
Parents in my
parents in my
country read
country
bedtime
read
stories
bedtime
to
stories
their children.
to their children.
Very good. Next, repeat. Express.
Express
Thought.
thought.
Very good. Okay, listen. Express is a verb. It means to talk or write about something. Thought is the noun of think. For example, I'm thinking of many things, or we can say as a noun, I have many thoughts. I think it's easier to express my thoughts in writing than in speaking. Okay, let's practice. Can you express a very simple idea quite well in English? Can you express a very simple idea quite well in English? Yes, I can
Yes,
express
I
a
can
very
express
simple
very
idea quite
simple
well. A
quite
very
well.
simple idea
Very simple idea
quite
quite
well
well
in English.
in English.
Do you think it's easier to express your thoughts in writing or in speaking? Do you think it's easier to express your thoughts in writing or in speaking? I think it's
I think
easier
it's
to
easier
express
to
my
express
thoughts
my
in.
thoughts in writing.
Very good. Next, let's have irregular verbs. Okay, so let's talk about irregular verbs. Okay, repeat. So,
Eh?
so,
So,
change.
change.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word so is a conjunction. For example, I didn't eat my breakfast, so I'm hungry now. Change is a verb. It means to make something different. The past tense of some verbs are irregular, and we do not add ed to form
Mm,
the past tense. Instead, we change the word. For example, the past of speak is spoke, and the past
mm.
of come is came. So we change the spelling. Okay, so repeat after me. This is quite a few. Okay, repeat. Speak, spoke.
Speak, spoke.
Drive, drove.
Drive, drove.
Come, came.
Come, came.
Forget, forgot.
Forget, forgot.
Break, broke.
Break, broke.
See, saw.
See, so.
Wear, wore.
Where, wore.
Sit, sat.
Uh,
Sit, sat.
sit, sat.
Very good. Write, wrote.
Right, wrote.
Eat, ate.
Eat, ate.
Get up, got up.
Get up, got up.
Give, gave.
Give, gave.
Stand, stood.
Stand, stood.
Begin, begun.
Begin, began.
Shine, shone.
Shine, shone.
Drink, drank.
Drink, drank.
Take, took.
Take, took.
Sleep, slept.
Sleep, slept.
And tell, told.
Tell, told.
Very good. So those are examples of some irregular verbs. Okay, so let's practice. What's the past of speak? What's the past of speak? The past of
The
speak
past
is
of
spoke.
speak is spoke.
Very good. Which language did we speak during the last lesson? Which language did we speak during the last lesson? We spoke
We
English
spoke
during the last
English
lesson.
during the last lesson.
What's the past of come? What's the past of come? The past of
The
come
past
is
of
came.
come is came.
What time did you come here last lesson? What time did you come here last lesson? I came here
I
at
came here at 8 a.m.
last lesson.
Last lesson.
What's the past of break? What's the past of break? The past of
The
break
past
is
of
broke.
break is broke.
Did you ever break an arm or a leg when you were a little child? Did you ever break an arm or a leg when you were a little child? Yes or no? I
Yes,
broke
I
an
broke
I broke a leg
my leg
when I was a little
when I
child.
was a little child.
Megan, what did you wear yesterday? What did you wear yesterday? I wore.
I wore a blouse
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Did I write anything on this piece of paper last lesson? Did I write anything on this piece of paper last lesson? Yes or no?
No,
You didn't write
you
anything
didn't write
on that
anything
piece of
on the
paper
piece of paper
last lesson.
last lesson.
What time did you get up this morning? What time did you get up this morning? I got up at
I got up at 7 a.m.
this morning.
This morning.
Very good. Okay. Let's go there. Okay, here we go. Did we stand up after the last lesson? Did we stand up after the last lesson? Yes, we stood up
Yes, we
after
stood
the
up
last lesson.
after the last lesson.
Did the sun shine last week? Did the sun shine last week? Yes or no? The
Yes,
sun
the
shone
sun shone
last week.
last week.
Did you take any photographs on your last holiday? Did you take any photographs on your last holiday? Yes or no? I
Yes,
took
I took
some
some
photographs on
photographs
my last holiday.
last on my last holiday.
Did you tell me your name? Did you tell me your name? Yes, I told you my
Yes,
name.
I told you my name.
Did anybody in your family drive a car last year? Did anybody in your family drive a car last year? Yes or no?
Yes,
Somebody
somebody
in
in
my
my
family drove a
family
car
drove
last
a
year.
car last year.
Did you remember all the new words last lesson from the lesson before that? Did you remember all the new words last lesson from the lesson before that? No, I didn't
No, I
remember
don't.
all
I
the
didn't
new
remember
words
all the
last
new
lesson
words last
from the
lesson
lesson before
from
that.
the lesson before
Some
that.
I remembered
Some I remember
and
and
some I forgot.
some forgot.
Very good. What did you see in this classroom last lesson? What did you see in this classroom last lesson? I saw some
I
books,
saw
some
some books,
chairs,
some
a table,
chairs, a
etc.
table,
in that
etc.
classroom
in that
last lesson.
classroom last lesson.
Where did you sit during the last lesson? Where did you sit during the last lesson? I sat
I sat
I sat
I
here
sat here
during the last
during the
lesson.
last lesson.
What did you eat for your lunch yesterday? What did you eat for your lunch yesterday? I ate some
I ate some white rice
for my lunch
from
yesterday.
my lunch yesterday.
Did I give you a dictation last month? Did I give you a dictation last month? Yes or no?
Yeah, yes.
You gave me a
You gave
dictation
me
last
a
month.
dictation last month.
When did last season begin? When did last season begin? Last season
Last
began
season
on the
began
month of
in the month of March.
March. Very good. What did you drink with your breakfast this morning? What did you drink with your breakfast this morning? I drank some
I drank some water
with my
with my
breakfast this morning.
breakfast this morning.
How long did you sleep last night? How long did you sleep last night? I slept
I
about
slept about 8 hours
last night.
last week night.
Very good. Next, repeat. Hill.
Hill
Hill. Very good. Around.
around.
Very good. Okay, listen. A hill is a noun. It is smaller than a mountain. Around is an adverb. It means in some places. Around. For
Mhm.
example, there are some hills in some places in my city. Or we can say there are some hills around my city. Let's practice. Are there any hills around your city? Are there any hills around your city? Yes or no?
No,
There
there
aren't any
aren't
hills
any
around my
hills
city.
around my city.
Very good. Next, repeat the laugh.
Uh,
Comedy.
Comedy.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word laugh is a verb. We laugh when we're happy. A comedy is a funny film. We laugh when we watch comedies. Let's
Mm.
practice. Do people generally laugh when they're happy or unhappy? Do people generally laugh when they're happy or unhappy? People generally
People
laugh
generally
when
laugh
they're
when they
happy.
were happy.
Do you laugh when you watch comedies? Do you laugh when you watch comedies? Yes, I laugh
Yes, I
when I
laugh
watch
when I
comedies.
watch comedies.
Very good. Next, repeat enemy.
Enemy,
Britain.
Britain.
Very good. Listen. Enemy is a noun. It is the opposite of friend. Britain is a noun, another name for Great Britain or United Kingdom. For example, Britain and America weren't enemies during the Second World War. They were friends. Okay, let's practice. What's the opposite of the word friend? What's the opposite of the word friend? The
The
opposite of
opposite
the
of
word
the
friend
word
is
friend
enemy.
is enemy.
Were Britain and America enemies during the Second World War? Were Britain and America enemies during the Second World War? No. Britain and
No,
America weren't
Britain and
enemies
America weren't
during the
enemies
Second
during the
World
Second
War.
World
They were
War.
friends.
They were friends.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading.
Okay.
Very good. So our reading is at stage 3, paragraph page 159. Last headword was sent. Okay, start with the
Mm-hmm.
question. Do you send postcards to your friends and family?
Uh, 9. Uh, mm,
159.
send
Send
from
card,
send.
postcard.
Send card.
Okay, start
Postcard.
with one, two, three. Start with the second question.
Okay. Do you send postcards to your friends and family when you go on holiday? No, I don't send postcards to my friends and family when I go on holiday. When you go on holiday, do you take photos with the camera or with your phone? When I go on holiday, I take photos with my phone. Receive, reply, email, text, contact, message, letter. What's the opposite of send? The opposite of send is receive. Do you receive more letters than emails? No, I don't receive more letters than emails. I receive fewer letters than emails. Can you email people from your mobile phone? Yes, I can email people from my mobile phone. Do you reply to all the emails you receive? No, I don't reply to all the emails I receive. I only reply to some of them. Do you generally contact your friends by texting them or by phoning them? I generally contact my friends by texting them. If you want to send somebody a quick message, do you write a text or an email? If I want to send somebody a quick message, I write a text. House, flat, floor, divide, block. What's the difference between a house and a flat? The difference between a house and a flat is that a house is a building, whereas a flat is part of a building. What do we call a building which is divided into many flats? We call a building which is divided into many flats a block of flats. Do you live in a house? No, I don't live in a house. I live in a flat. Do most people in this country live in houses or flats? Most people in this country live in flats. How many floors are there in this building? There are 8 floors in this building. Near, far from. Is Japan near England? No, Japan isn't near England. It's far from England. Nearer than, further than, farther than. Is France further from England than China? No, France isn't further from England than China. It's nearer England than China. And uh,
The nearest.
the nearest, the furthest, the farthest. Of these 3 countries, France, Greece, and Japan, which is the nearest to England? Of those 3 countries, France, Greece, and Japan, France is the nearest to England. And which of those 3 countries is the furthest from England? Of those 3 countries, Japan is the furthest from England. At the beginning of, at the end of. What do I say to you at the beginning of the lesson? You say good morning to us at the beginning of the lesson. What do I say to you at the end of the lesson? You say goodbye to us at the end of the lesson. Does January comes at the end of the year? No, January doesn't come at the end of the year. It comes at the beginning of the year. Does Saturday come at the beginning of the week? No, Saturday doesn't come at the beginning of the week. It comes at the end of the week.
Very